And welcome to another episode of the GamerHeads Podcast. My name is Roger. Along with me are my good friends and co-hosts. I have Mike.
Be excellent to each other.
And Phil.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Welcome to the show. You know, I haven't seen the third Bill and Ted's yet.
it's stupid, but it's like
Okay.
fun stupid.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be on like HBO Max or something, but it's not.
Is it not?
I don't think so. I looked for it. I didn't find it. I'll have to look again. I thought it would be on. Well, maybe I looked on Netflix. Maybe I was looking at Netflix. Anyway, welcome to the show. If you like what you hear, leave us a review. We want to hear what you have to say about the show. If this is your first time listening to the show,
Sorry.
Hit subscribe. Sorry. Hit subscribe. We'd love to have you as part of the GamerHeads Nation. You can find us everywhere because we're literally everywhere. But you can also go directly to where we're located at GamerHeadsPodcast.com. And there you can hear this podcast. You can read articles out there as well. Some reviews that we've been doing, some news articles, podcasts, as I said. Yeah, there's a lot out there that you can do. And you can actually click on any of the links on the right-hand side there as well and subscribe to the show. We even have merch, guys. Yes, Phil.
Are we still friends with the coffee people?
We are. Yeah, we're still affiliated with Gamer Grind Coffee. So yeah. So yeah, there's a lot out there. So check out the website. You can also follow us on Twitter at GamerHeadsPC. And we also have Facebook at facebook.com/GamerHeadsPodcast. So there's a lot of different ways that you can follow us. And we love to interact with all of our listeners or even non-listeners. If you're just like, hey, I stumbled across your Twitter or your website, and I just want to say hi, hello, welcome. So today it's just us three. Last week we had like double the amount of people, but this week
that's 6.
That's 6 in case you didn't know. So actually, I think can I just mention this here? I'm going to mention this here because it's, why not?
Where else are you going to mention it?
Where else am I going to mention it? So
Space.
It's making a comeback. So what we're going to be toying with an idea where we are going to have rotating cast. And so starting next week, we'll have another group. Will be probably Matt and Chris and Candace and Ed. And then Mike is going to be hosting the other weeks. I shouldn't say off weeks because there's really no.
No, I'm pretty off. So
oh snap. So he'll be hosting the other weeks, and that will be Phil and Carrington. Kyle, if we can get Kyle onto the show, that'd be great.
That guy's the worst.
Yeah. So but I think it'll be fun. And then we talked about doing like in the future, like even events, like we have game events, we could have, Team A versus Team B, and we play Rocket League and stuff like that. That'd be a lot of fun to do that kind of stuff. So anyway, Mike, I'm excited for you to be hosting the Red Day version of GamerHeads, not the Green Day.
Why are we red?
Because he doesn't want to be Green Day.
No, I don't want to be Green Day.
Well, F Green Day. Like, let's. But red's stupid.
All right.
Okay, you're gonna be.
We can be
Black
Black
Day.
Day.
Under Green Day.
Black Day.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now
Yeah.
we're in.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah. So anyway, so stay forward. Look forward to that, and stay tuned for that. So before we get into the games that we are playing, us three, I do have an icebreaker this week, and the icebreaker that I have for this week has to do with Legos. And let me actually pull up my question here. So my question to you, two and me as well as guests, is what are franchises that deserve a Lego video game? And Mike, I'll start with you. What do you think are some franchises that deserve a Lego video game?
Yes, Phil.
Don't steal my answer, please.
Yeah, don't steal my answer either.
I have a feeling
will
I'm
be.
gonna steal your answer. I had two.
I've got a
but
feeling
I'll-
you're stealing mine too.
Yeah. So I had an idea for one, and I thought it would be really good since Konami's not using it. I thought Castlevania would make for a good
Oh,
Lego.
okay. You did not steal my idea.
A good Lego. No. I'm gonna steal your idea.
Oh.
But I think because there's so many characters and so many different Castlevania games, they could really do a lot with the Legos. But if I were to see one type of Lego game, it would be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Mm,
Ooh,
Lego
nice.
that would be a good one. You did not steal mine.
Okay, they had some Ninja Turtles Lego sets about 10 years back.
Was it Legos? It wasn't like Mega Blocks or whatever the other
Well, they did Turtles Mega
Blockos.
Block, I think. Yeah,
Blocos.
but no, they actually did Lego Turtles sets.
Oh, they did.
Yes.
Huh.
Yes. But the thing about the Lego games is there's just a wealth of characters that they have that you can play as. And in the Turtles universe, there are so many characters going through the old show, the old comic, the 2012 series, the new one that's not new, but I think they're on issue like 120 or something like right now. The IDW comic.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many different characters that they can have and so many different plot lines. And the Turtles, I mean, it just lends itself to having like a family friendly hack and slash style game.
Yeah, surprised. I mean, if they had Lego sets 10 years ago, that was like in the heyday of making everything into the games. I'm surprised that they didn't take the Lego sets and make it into a game, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Huh.
That's my pick.
That's a really good pick. What about you, Phil? What Lego video game would you like to see?
See, I went the opposite direction of Mike when I was thinking about this, and I put a lot of thought in this, about 23 seconds worth. And I was thinking, what would I like to see in Lego form? And I would like to see an all-encompassing, like, it's not going to be family friendly, but horror based.
Ooh.
Where you can play as Jason Voorhees, you can play as Michael Myers, you can play as Freddy, you can play as Pinhead, and you're working your way through and killing stupid teenagers that are doing dumb stuff like, all the stuff that dumb teenagers did. And you can play from both directions too, where you're trying to like stop the baddie from killing you guys. You can try to kill the baddie, or vice versa, that type of thing. I think that would kind of be a good fun time and would bring a little bit of PG and campiness to all that, to the entire horror genre. I think that could be a good time and like have a good time with it.
Oh,
And I just said good time like 75 times. So
that would be a good time. No, but I mean, like, what a great idea, because
like just grab the horror genre, bring
Yeah.
it in, bring it blocky, and like make it fun and be like, all right, so the Evil Dead is kind of campy, but we're gonna make it even more campy by bringing Ash into this and the Deadites into this, and like Jason Voorhees, like all the Friday the 13th movies are kind of campy, but at the same time not. But let's just go ahead and play with it and have fun with it. Like I think it could really work out if you put a little bit of effort into it.
Yeah, I like that idea. And then you could even just, like, and there's Dracula and there's Frankenstein and
Yeah,
there's, you know what I
like,
mean? Like
throw
you
it all
make
in there.
classic. Yeah, exactly. Like,
Well,
how
I mean,
fun
you can
would
even
that be?
split it up from that too. Like, and go like the New Line stuff and the old Universal stuff, where it's like Creature from the Blue Lagoon and Dracula and or not Wolfenstein, but the Wolfman, all that kind of stuff. Like, split it all up and like just have a good time with it.
Yeah, I like
Yep.
that.
And hell with saying having a good time with it. I'm done.
So my franchise, I don't think is a Lego set yet. I mean a Lego game. I don't think it is. Lord of the Rings? No, I'm kidding. As this plays.
The worst.
Back to the Future.
They were in the Lego. What was the name of the big one where you had like the Scooby-Doo characters, the Ghostbusters characters?
Dimensions.
Dimensions.
They were
Yeah,
Dimensions.
It was all
that's
part of that.
right. That's
But I didn't know if it was a whole level or if it was just the character pack.
yeah, man. I couldn't tell you on that one.
That's right. I forgot about Lego Dimensions. But I would love to play the 3 movies, right?
It'd be fun.
As Legos. I think that'd be awesome. It'd be so cool. Like there's so much they could do with that. That'd be amazing.
Yep.
That and even the cartoon, like they could tie in some of the cartoon into that as well. I thought that'd be really cool. That was
You know
my
what?
idea.
what we think of that, like, to hell with it. Just go straight up Nintendo Lego. Like, I know that they've got the Super Mario Brothers Lego, but like incorporate the Donkey Kongs and your Metroids and all that kind of things, and like just have like a Nintendo Lego pack, and
that would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
You know what they should do? They should have it. The star of the game is Captain N, the Game Master.
Oh my
God!
Exactly.
To all the different Nintendo games and meet the characters.
And just have him work his way through Kid Icarus and Mega Man and everything else. That'd be rad.
Who owns the rights to Captain N? I wonder.
That's a good question. I have no idea. Deke?
Probably.
Either Deke or Miyamoto.
Yeah, but what a weird mashup too, right? It wasn't just Nintendo games. It was like Mega Man. I mean, I know Mega Man was on Nintendo, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like you had
it was a Capcom license.
But it's Capcom license, yeah. Like how weird that show was.
Same with Simon Belmont.
Oh yeah, I forgot Simon Belmont.
He was Capcom or Konami.
Yeah, you know, I did not like Simon in that because he was kind of idiotic.
Yeah, he was pompous.
Yeah, pompous. It wasn't he
but
just
he had nice hair.
He did have nice hair. That is true. But in Mega Man,
coif.
He had Mega Man like, oh, Mega, this is Mega.
Yeah, everything would be bad. Well, dude, come on, it was 1989.
Yeah,
give it some credit.
That would have been 1998. It would have been all extreme.
Yeah,
you had Extreme Man.
Yeah, and I loved Mother Brain too. Mother Brain will get you.
That was the Little Richard voice.
Yeah,
yes, it was.
It was. Oh, that's such a weird show. That would be kind of fun though to bring that back as a Lego set.
It would be. And you can even do it dimension style too, where you like had to go out and buy your individual toys to like stick on top of the gimmick to like load them in, and you could make $150 per sale on the game for the $50 game, $60 game.
You know, I will say I forgot about Dimensions, and the weird thing about Dimensions is it was here and then it just kind of faded away. Like the other games, like the other toy games, like Disney Infinity, like there was it was a huge surge, and people were like, oh, this is great, I love it. And then they just stopped, right? Like they're just like, well, Disney Interactive said we're done with this. But there was a big fan, and maybe there was for the Lego Dimensions too, but I just feel like Lego Dimensions like was really a hot flash in the pan. Like it was there, but I mean it didn't even get much.
And then 2 months later it was all on clearance.
Yeah,
you could find a lot of the stuff at Five Below.
Yeah, it was so weird. That's why I forgot about the fact that there was a Back to the Future set with that, or even the game for that matter. I totally forgot about that game because there was Ghostbusters in that too, right?
There was a Ghostbusters set. Yep, that was based on the amazing reboot that they did. That's so underrated.
Yeah.
Nothing but
even so, I would take an independent Ghostbusters game too, an independent Lego Ghostbusters game, or an independent Scooby-Doo Ghostbusters game, where you're playing through like episodes of the old '60s cartoon and shit. Like, I'd be all about that.
Did they have Doctor Who too? Is that what I just saw there?
Yes,
there was. That was the pack. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. You would have thought that out of all the toys things that would have picked up and been, there's the there's Back to the Future. You would have thought that would have done well. Interesting. Oh, and then it's Simpsons too. Oh my gosh, that kid seems to be really enjoying it.
Simpsons was an actual level though.
Oh, was it?
I just think at that point the entire thing had been burnt out by Toys by Bob with their entire Spyro thing and Amiibo. Everything else, and the Amiibo and everything else. Like I just think the entire Toys to Play thing had been just burnt to the ground at that juncture.
Yeah, that came at the tail end of that whole fad.
Yep, it would have been like trying to add another. It would have been like trying to add another music game onto the Rock Band and Guitar Hero genre, like during that type of phase. Like if you'd have tried to do that, it never would have went anywhere. And I think that's kind of where Lego Dimensions suffered.
Yeah, I mean, Starlink was kind of in that same era, I think.
Yep.
Right.
Agreed.
But at least with Starlink, you could purchase everything digitally.
Yes. Not at first.
Not at first.
And then they realized, you can play Starlink 2 players too. I just found that out this week.
Online or local?
Local.
Okay.
Loco. Nice job, Garrett, by the way, pulling that video up. Holy cow, that was our producer Garrett pulled that up pretty quickly.
On the fly.
Yeah.
GG.
So so listeners, what franchises would you like to see a Lego video game made out of? You can let us know at GamerHeads on Twitter at GamerHeads PC. You can also go to our Facebook page and leave us a message there at facebook.com/GamerHeads Podcast. You can also go to our website at GamerHeadsPodcast.com and leave us a message there, or you can send us an email at info@GamerHeadsPodcast.com and let us know. We'd love to hear what you have to say and what your thoughts are. Speaking of letting what our thoughts are, let's talk about games we're currently playing. I'm going to start with you, Mike.
Yeah.
What games are you currently playing?
So I took a lot of your advices from last week's episode, and I started playing 12 minutes. And I realized that
you don't like it?
I am, well, let me say this.
Okay.
It's not a bad game.
Yeah.
But the bad thing that the game did was make me realize that I'm an absolute moron and I can't figure anything out on my own.
It's a hard game.
Because there's things that, like, it's one of those things where, and this is one thing I don't like. I'm gonna go on a rant here. This is one of the things I don't like, especially when it comes to like RPGs. It's like you talk to somebody and they have a whole dialogue and you go through it and you talk and all that stuff. But then in order to get something special, you have to talk to them 3 or 4 more times.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's things in 12 minutes that are reminiscent of that. And there are some things that are like, okay, well, I did this. Oh, I need to do it again in order for the important thing to happen. Oh, okay. That's, yeah, that's crazy. So, and then, but I figured out a lot of stuff on my own, and then I was completely lost.
Yeah.
And then I looked up online, like, because I hated doing it because I really was looking forward to this game. I was really looking forward to figuring out what I could do. And they said, when I looked online, it said, here's something you can do. And I'm like, wait a minute, like, how was I supposed to know to do that? And I know it's all about trial and error and trying different things. And I just don't have the time. Even if I am stuck in a time loop, I wouldn't have the time. But it was just like, geez. And then I looked, I'm like, oh, okay, well, this opens up a whole bunch more stuff. And then it's like, oh, here's a whole bunch more stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, all right, I'm an idiot. This game, actually, I did so many loops that Daisy Ridley actually told me I was an idiot. That was an actual scene in the game.
Wow.
Where she just looks up and says, you're an absolute moron.
Wow.
And then, yeah.
She like out of character.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is Daisy Ridley. I just want to tell you, you're an idiot. I can't
she's
believe
like, you're a
you
moron. She's like, I had more fun.
Poke.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, get your stuff together.
Yeah, she's like, you're terrible at this. She's looking up at the camera. She's like, you're terrible at this. I had more fun making out with Adam Driver than playing this. Spoiler alert. So 12 minutes. Not a bad game.
Wait, is Adam Driver in this game?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's how bad I was.
Only the special ending.
Yeah, he
spoiler alert for this game.
Yeah, he came into the room. They started making out, and she's like, "See, now." But I got an achievement for it, so that's good.
Wait, this isn't Star Wars. How did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah. But so yeah, 12 minutes. The game is fun if you're smart. If you're a dingus like myself, maybe not so much.
One thing I will say, I really enjoy the premise of this game, and I think it's a really smart game. The one thing I will say is I find myself kind of the same boat that you are. Because it is a narrative game, I want to see the end. I want to see what happens, right? So I'm like, well, I'm going to look up what do I need to do to make this happen, right? So that way I can see this story play out. And it's weird because I feel like that's different than like if I play like a platformer, you know what I mean? Like I might look up like how do I make it past this certain part, but I'm not like playing it because like, oh man, I want to find out this storyline. And like for me, like I'm more willing to go out there and watch these videos because I want to know what happens in this story.
Right.
That makes sense. And I find that fascinating because of the fact that it's a story driven game. Just different. Yes, Phil.
Would you say this is a game that maybe a lot more people would watch a playthrough of than play a playthrough of?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Yep. I'll agree with that.
Which is interesting because like I've seen a lot of people streaming it, and I kind of wanted to watch it, but then I also didn't want to watch it because they're not as far as me, or
Right.
they're farther than me, right? And I'm
Right,
like,
you're invested. You don't want to spoil anything.
yeah.
So
I did catch one stream, and they did something in the game that I was like, oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm gonna say it. If you haven't played this game, you don't want to hear any spoilers, I guess plug your ears here. But did you try this, putting the sleeping pills in the water and then giving it to your wife?
yeah, I did that all the time.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Oh,
I never tried that. I was like, oh, that's interesting. The baby picture, or the baby present, was like the first thing that I realized right away. I'm like, oh, this is how I'm going to prove to her that and the storm. That's how I proved to her.
I did it the opposite way, or not the opposite way. I did the present and I did the watch.
Oh.
I didn't even know about the storm.
Oh yeah, interesting. Because I was listening to the radio, see if there was a song playing.
Yeah.
All right, Phil, you can come back.
So yeah, 12 minutes.
For those that are watching, I pulled my headset out so I could just not listen, because I do plan on playing the game.
Yeah. But there's a lot of, like, I do agree, there's a lot of trial and error, right? And it does, I mean, the loops are not long, but it does get frustrating where you're like, I wish I would have done something different there. Like, that seems like I was really close, but
right,
I'm not, right? So
I might have asked this question last week, but do you have to start from square one each and every time?
Yes.
Or do you? Oh boy.
But you retain the knowledge.
Yes.
So you could, like, there's more like dialogue trees that pop up on subsequent loops.
So your character's the only one that knows.
Right. So if you learn something in loop 1,
it's there.
Or loop 2, you can ask somebody about it in loop 3 or 4.
Huh. All right.
Yeah. So
it's an interesting game. And then if you haven't had a chance to, first of all, play the game, because it's on Game Pass, and there's no real reason why you shouldn't play the game if you have Game Pass.
Because Xbox is the best.
Xbox is one of the best box. The other
thing,
in the
top 3.
Yeah. If you haven't, go back to last week's episode, and the second half of the show is probably starting around like the 125 mark, the hour 25 mark, is when I interview Luis Antonio, the creator of the game, and we talk about the game. And it's really interesting, just his thought process around it, and how much thought went into how the dialogue's read, what the dialogue is, what, even the actions of the characters, and how they fall. Like, every time that he gets handcuffed, he's not going to fall the same way because he knows what's going to happen. It's an interesting, and then he even talks about, like, one of my favorite parts he was telling me was he figured out at one point, because this is his first game that he worked on by himself. Before, he was an artist on other games too. His whole career, he said, has been working in games. But one of the things that he said that was really fun was he figured out something where he needed to figure out how the characters would fall so they wouldn't land on a couch or wouldn't land on a table, right? Like, that they would not just like randomly fall through a table or something like that. And he figured it out, and he like ran to his wife, and he was like, oh, I got this. And she was like, okay, I don't want to hear any more about this. Like, and his child was born around the same time when he was working on this too. So, like, it's an interesting, like, kind of like both things coming together, like his family life and his child, and then this game as well. It's a fascinating thing. So yeah, but what a star-studded cast too, huh? Yeah, cool. What else have you been playing?
The only other game I was playing this week was Cyber Shadow. So after I got frustrated and rage quit 12 minutes, I was playing
Cyber Shadow.
I jumped into Cyber Shadow
because that's not gonna make you angry.
Because that's not, no, actually the game had been making me angry for the past 6 months.
Yeah.
So the game is amazing, by the way. So Cyber
is.
Shadow, it's a 2D action side scroller in the vein of Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah.
Classic Ninja Gaiden. And it's published by Yacht Club Games, the same people that did Shovel Knight, which is one of my favorite games of all time. The game is very challenging, very difficult, but they space out the respawn points enough so it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But I decided, so I played it. I actually wrote a review for the website when it first came out. And I stopped playing it for a while, and I was so mad that I got back into it. Would you like to know why I was so mad that I got back into it?
Yes.
It's because the programmers for this game decided to do the very gamer-friendly thing of making the achievement points worth 26, 37, 94, 17.
Those odd number achievements.
Yes. It had odd number achievements, and my gamer score did not end in a 5 or a 0, and it was eating away at my soul. And this game is challenging.
It is really challenging.
It is a very challenging game. If you want to get the full gamer score on it, like, you really, really, really need to be good. You need to have reflexes that are like, I don't know, precognition style reflexes in the game. So I played, and there was I was far enough in the game. I didn't beat the game, but I did get 3 achievements that put me at a 5 at the end of my gamer score. And then I paused the game
right there.
And I paused the game, and I'm sitting there just thinking, I'm like, I'm having so much fun. Do I want to keep going? I'm like, but if I keep going, I'm probably going to get another achievement that's going to mess things up. So I ended up, I put my controller down, and I'm like, I need my gamer score to be a 5 or a 0.
Oh my gosh.
So I played Cyber Shadow. Highly recommend it. It's an amazing game, especially if you like challenging 2D action platformers.
Yeah. I love the aesthetic of the game. It's so good.
Good music too.
Good music. Yeah. It's a really good game. I think you gave it like an A, right? Or an A+.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think I gave it an A.
Yeah. It's a good game. Cool. Anything else?
That's it.
So Phil, I know we're going to talk about your game when we get to the Phil Plays section, right?
I thought it was Mike Reed's. I
thought it
don't
was
even matter in
Tales
this
from the
section.
eShop.
Well,
Yeah,
whatever, whatever it's called. But we'll get to your game when we get there, because that's really what y'all.
Just for that, I'm gonna pee.
Okay, so Phil's gonna leave. I'm gonna talk about my game. So by games, I should say. So the first game that I'll talk about is Mikey. I think you have played this game, or you played. Well, you have played this game, Space Invaders. But I'm playing the Invincible Collection. I was reviewing it for the site. So in this game, it's a collection of 10 different Space Invader games, which I didn't even realize there was 10 Space Invader games.
Such variety.
Yeah, such variety. So, you got your basic black and white one, and then you have your color, which is this playing right here. But then there's like, I don't know, like super Space Invaders. There's a couple in there that I was like, oh, this is kind of a cool mix to it. There was one that you actually can play through like levels, like branching levels. And I think, what was that one called? I think it's like something Extreme. 12.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't well, there was Extreme in there too, but I think I don't remember what it was called, but it was something like Here Comes the 12 or something like that, or something along those lines. But that had actual boss battles in it. It was really cool. And then the other one that I played with my son the other night is the I think it's called like Mega or Giga Space Invaders
with the big widescreen.
The big widescreen.
That one's cool with a lot of people.
With a lot of people, yeah. So it was just him and I playing, but he had a lot of and it was fun because it's an easy game pick up on, right? Like, and but there's boss battles in that, and there's 3 levels, and we beat it, and he was very happy, and it was really fun. So, I will say, so it's 10 games, and then there is an additional download of the Space Invaders versus Arkanoid,
which is an awesome game, by the way.
Yeah. But it's $60 the whole game. And unless you are like a huge fan of Space Invaders, like, I don't know, $60 just seems like a really really high price tag for this game, you know. So, but the cool thing is, I will say the other cool thing is that there is leaderboards on all the games. It shows you the top 50 and then where you rank as well, but it doesn't have regional and it doesn't have friend rank. And I always, we said this before when we were on like the Nindy Focus podcast, when we talked about you know, games like this where it was like the arcade style where you have you know, like leaderboards and stuff like that. Like, why not have a local leaderboard or a friends leaderboard, like regional and friends leaderboard? Because I mean, think about that. Like, will convince your, well, I mean, maybe, but I mean, like, it would be more willing. I'd be more willing to buy this game if my friends were playing it and I could compete with them if I was a huge Space Invaders, you know, person.
Friends is definitely key when you come to like arcade style leaderboard games. Like, you need to have that, because I will, like, not to harken anything too far back, but like Pinball FX3, I will play a table over and over again until I beat my friends in Pinball FX3. Like, it's just like, okay, you got 2 million more points than I do. I'm gonna keep playing this until I beat you. Like, it's just a thing.
I'm not gonna place in the top 50, but I might beat my friends at this game. You know what I mean? Like,
and I'm cool with that.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I thought that was a big miss. I just thought, like, why have a leaderboard if you're not going to have regional and friends? I mean, even if you don't have regional, have your friends at least. Have your friend leaderboard. Like, I just don't get that. And the other cool thing is when you pull up each game, it does tell you the history, a little paragraph of the history of each game. There's one in here that was made from a board of Space Invaders, but it was, you go down and you're swooping down and you're picking up people from the land, and then you have to fly back up to your spaceship. And I've never played that in the arcade. I think it came out in like 1980 or something like that, because I think the original Space Invader was like 78 or something.
76, 77, something like that.
Late, like mid to late 70s. But then this one was a board that was created off of that, and I thought that was kind of cool. It was super challenging too. It was Lunar Rescue. That was the game.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. This game is really, really tough. But yeah, it was made off of the original board. But here you drop down, and there's people down below, and you have to land on these landing pads here, and you pick them up, and then you have to fly back up to the mothership. Not easy. It's really,
no, it doesn't look like it is.
No, I mean, this gameplay doesn't look too bad, but it's, I don't know, it's pretty intense. But yeah, I never played that game before in the arcade. It was pretty fun. So again, if you are like a historian and if you like history of games, like arcade games like this, and you're a huge fan of Space Invaders, this is certainly a great collection. Just $60 seems like a really high price tag for a game like this. So I think I gave it a B- on the site.
Okay,
that's fair.
Sounds about right.
And then some of the other games I've been playing, I've been playing some Blaster Master Zero. So I reviewed for the site Blaster Master 03, and I absolutely loved it. So I went back and I started playing Blaster Master 1. So I got Blaster Masters 1 and 2. So I played the original Blaster Master when it came out on NES. And it's super hard, right? So then I was like, well, I'm gonna pick up the remake, and the remake is so much better. Like, just the controls themselves just is so much better, but the fact that there's save points in the game, oh my gosh. But I am absolutely loving this game. This game is so good. If you want to play good retro style games, this is, like Cyber Shadow is really good. This one is also a really, really good remake. And just like, look at that, look how good that is. I mean, this game is so good.
Game. It's a really good game.
Yeah. And I know, Phil, you were watching me play, and I think it's this next boss. You were watching me play against this boss. I beat him. I struggled with him, but I did beat him. I was like, oh, thank God. I'm on this guy right now. So but yeah, this game is so much fun. I absolutely love this game. And then the other game that I've been playing, oh, by the way, story is really good too. The other game that I just picked up because I saw our friend Jordan playing this game because I'm friends with him on the Switch, and I saw that he was playing this game, and I was like, "What is this game?" So I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, this looks so cool." Have you guys heard of the game Monster Sanctuary?
Yes, I have heard of it. I don't know anything about it, but I've heard of it.
So it's like Pokemon in the fact that you're collecting monsters. So you build like your own like army of monsters, but it's side-scrolling like platformer. So there's some times where you have to use your monster to do certain things, like in that case, you use it to disappear and run through. There's all your different monsters have different abilities, so you might have to use your monster, like for instance, to fly. So you'll hit the button and he'll grab you and you'll fly across certain areas. But then you level up your monsters as well. So you get eggs. You can see you gathered eggs there. So based on your performance against battles, you can get an egg. An egg might drop in some of your battles if you do well, and then you get a new monster and you can add them to your collection. And then the cool thing is that then you level up your monsters, and it's trees. It's leveling trees like this. So each different branch opens up, or different sections of the branch, I should say, opens up at, in levels 10, level 15, level 20. And you can do some really amazing stuff in this game. It's really, really good. I picked it up because it was on sale. I don't think the sale's on anymore. I think it was like 30% or 40% off. So it was less than like $20 when I picked it up. I think it was like $13. It's really fun. And the graphics, it has the retro feel to it and look and feel to it. But if you like Pokemon, but you want to have like something that's more like that's Pokemon is an RPG. I know that. I'm not saying that it isn't. But if you want to have something that's a little bit more like feels like an RPG a little bit more, like this is a really, really good game. And you can name your monsters as well. So I named all my monsters after my kids, of course. That's what I do.
Because kids are monsters.
Kids are monsters, yeah. But yeah, it's a lot of it's great. And then you pick up different equipment, and you can like put the different equipment on your monsters and such, and you can customize your monsters any way you want. Not only from the equipment stuff, based on like the different stats, but the trees too. You can really customize the monsters the way you want to customize it. Again, I know people that play Pokemon is like, I can do that already in Pokemon. Yes, you can. I get that, but I don't know. It's another way of doing that. And this game is not $60. This game is, I think, maybe $15-$20, something like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, really fun game. So those are the games I've been playing. Let's move on then to whatever section we're calling this now.
Section 3.
Section 3. Games for Phil. That's right. Games for Phil.
Get credit.
That's right, because it sounds like it's and Phil's gone.
What? I'm still right here.
Actually, you paused at a perfect spot.
It's even better. That pause is awesome.
The pause was really awesome. It should have been like an
Still
80s
pause.
music.
There we go.
Where it's like
jumping up like a fucking Toyota commercial.
Yeah.
I mean, a flipping Toyota commercial. I love what you do for me, Toyota.
Juicy fruit. It's gonna.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Nice. So, Mike, do you have the
I do
game
this
pulled up?
time.
All right. Phil?
I'm willing to see how far. He's
Yeah,
willing
me
to take
too.
it.
I want to see how long he's gonna last. Just
He moved. It counts.
yeah.
So last week,
Oh.
the game we picked for Phil from the eShop is a game called Woodle Tree Adventures Deluxe. So here's the description of the game. Save the woodlands before it's too late. Woodle Tree Adventures is an old school platform game with a catchy and unique art style. You will find all the classical elements from the 90s games and new interesting ideas. Explore a total of 8 worlds and save the lands with the magical water drops you'll find during your journey, bringing back peace and balance and finally becoming the new hero. 8 immersive different worlds to explore, new items and clothing to unlock for Woodle. Jump, run, and special attacks are your abilities during the adventure. Vast 3D environments presented in smooth 60 frames per second. This is a deluxe edition of the original game with a lot of new contents and improvements, which include a new extra original level, improvements to the camera movements, jumping mechanics enhanced for Woodle. The feeling of traveling around the world is refreshing and peaceful. If you want to relax, this is the experience for you, since both soundtrack and art style give a serene tone to the game. Even if you are not a fan of the genre, Woodle Tree Adventures is still worth considering just to witness the beautiful game world. Phil, how accurate is this description?
It's actually pretty accurate. I'm gonna kind of choose my words lightly here. So this game definitely feels reminiscent of those late 90s, mid 90s platforming 3D experiences, which is both a good and a bad thing. The gameplay is a little bit slow, but the controls are pretty spot on. The music's pretty spot on. You're collecting your 3 tiers per level, and these berries that you get to unlock various different weapons / outfits and abilities for your character. I want to say I made it through 4 of these levels of this game, so I made it about halfway through the game before I finally gave up on it. But it should be called like Woodle Tree Adventure for Beginner, because it's, if I was a 6-year-old person that was going to looking to get into a 3D platformer, this would be a great starting point.
Really?
But that's a good
Yeah.
thing then. They don't make a whole lot of like platformers games and stuff for little kids. Like
Yeah.
to
No,
really,
and
like,
I don't
to
mean
get-
I don't at all mean that as a bad thing when I say that.
Right.
Like, it's just kind of like a feel goody. There's no punishment for dying. You can die as many times as you want. You get no negative ramifications from such. But it just plays a little bit slow, and the controls in the combat are a little bit wonky. Not wonky per se, but like you have to be, before you get your upgraded weapons, you have to be right on top of the person before you hit them with your leaf. But it plays well enough. The camera's a little bit on the shit side. But what wasn't back in the mid 90s, you can't really control it to like angle what you want to actually see. So if you're like doing a side scrolling platforming jump section, you can't spin it to be directly behind you. And then I'm not glad, but I am glad that you can see my hand motions of like swerving the camera behind, because as opposed to that front face view, you kind of want a behind the face view of you when you're trying to jump from platform to platform to platform. But it plays well enough. I didn't hate this game. It's a game that if I had more time with, and I hadn't played Ratchet and Clank / Jack and Daxter / any 3D platformer, being my age, like I wouldn't have the patience for it. But with it being what it is, it's a good game. It's fun, and I think I got it for $1.99. Soundtrack's mellow and chill. Controls are what they are. They're not super floaty. They're not super tight. They're solid enough. I don't recognize that picture they just showed, but it's a good little game.
Nice. So it's not the worst one you played.
Oh, by far no. It's not GTA 5 or 6.
Yeah. Or Roar.
Wait, what? Really? Roar was awesome. Roar was garbage.
So you think that this would be a good game for like my son or my daughter? Like my
Definitely,
son who is 6. You think he'd be able to play this game?
That's wheelhouse. Like
Yeah.
right there, that's wheelhouse for this game.
Okay. Because I think to Mike's point, like that is where I struggle, is to find a game for kids his age that would be something that's appropriate, but then also something that's not like overly challenging that he never wants to go into this genre ever again, right? Like I want to get his feet wet into something, and it sounds like this is a really good game for that.
It is. It's cute enough that it'll definitely hold the interest, and like there's nothing too graphic about it. And it plays well enough, and nothing in it's broken that I got to the point of through my 4 levels, which is 4 of 8. So I got halfway through the game. Where I don't think that it'd turn anybody off from playing this style of game, especially from a youth type perspective.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I might pick this one up. If that's the case, because I do think
if you can
that
find it on
like
sale, go for it, man. Like I do think that it's a good introductory, like into 3D platforming.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I was just saying how we figured out you can play Starlink multiplayer. Well, I was with my son,
Mhm.
And it was fun because he, I will say, like, to understand inverted controls, right, and flying a ship is he's never done that before. So, but he picked up on it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then my favorite part is that he had a pretty high level ship. Like, I've been leveling up the R-Wing, right, and I took something that I don't have level. I never played before, really, and I died, and he just needed to survive long enough that the hack was finished, right?
Yep.
And he did, and then like all the other enemy ships were destroyed, and he turned to me, he's like, "I just saved your butt." Yes, you did.
So this Woodle
There's
game, so it's like the kind of game that Roger's son could play, and Roger could just sit back in his armchair with a beer in his hand, just berating him
and
over
point
it.
directions
right,
like,
that's
no,
right.
jump, go,
You're
jump,
going
go,
the wrong
splash.
way.
How do you know?
And
Have you been in my house? Do you know how that's like literally every night when we play games? What are you doing?
And I will say too, like
sorry,
the level
Daddy,
ups
I'm
as
sorry.
far as weapons go, the levels up are very helpful. Like it's no longer just a sword; it's a sword with the like a tornado type of thing that'll take things out from a distance where you don't have to be right next to them anymore. Because kind of like the hit boxes are a little bit, they're not the most accurate when you initially start, but like once you get that like push with the boomerang-ish kind of thing behind you, like it makes things a little bit more easy. But the lack of camera controls is probably the most frustrating thing about the entire game. But it's not a Ratchet game.
Okay, cool.
Did I say Ratchet? Okay,
yeah, you did. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I might have to pick that one up. So before Mike reads the one for this week, I do want to read the one that I picked out because I think it is kind of funny. The one that I was gonna give to Phil. I know that I already read this to you, Phil, but I'm gonna read it to you anyway.
I don't remember that.
So this game, the game that I wanted, I said, Mike, what about this game? We didn't go with this one, but it's called Witch Hunter, which is so funny because, like,
I remember this now.
if you think about Witch Hunter, right, it sounds like The Witcher, right? And as I read this, think about how much they're trying to rip off The Witcher, right? And every time I read something like this, I always wonder, are they trying to get somebody that, like, some kid says, "Mom, I want to get The Witcher 3," and the mom's like, "Okay," or dad, I shouldn't say this, mom.
I got you The Witch Hunter 3.
Yeah, I got the Witch. Oh, what about The Witch Hunter? This looks good. And it's cheap, right? It's like way cheaper than The Witcher. What's the difference? It's still, you're still hunting witches. But The Witch Hunter is a 2D endless runner game. Witch Hunter is a 2D endless runner game. Play as Wolf, a famous monster slayer on his Play as Wolf. I mean, come on, right there. Play as Wolf, a famous monster slayer on his last adventure to redeem his name and become the most famous of his kind against hordes of creatures from the dark forest. Okay, already. Like, come on, this feels
hordes.
Have no mercy against every last monster standing in your way to boost your score while collecting coins to upgrade your power-ups hidden all across the dark forests. Shop. That's like little section called Shop. The player collects coins, which allow them to purchase upgrades in the in-game shop. These upgrades also aid progression against the trophies. So apparently you are playing against the trophies.
Yeah. You gotta watch out for those
trophies. Bad.
Yep.
Those are terrible. So anyway, I thought that was really funny. That one just came out like a couple days ago too, so it's like fairly new.
I'm really bummed I'm not going to be playing that game.
Oh, I am too.
Oh, well, geez, now I'll make me look like the bad guy.
Oh, no, I'm sure you're going to feed me some quite fantastic, wonderful, silky smooth gameplay, beautiful orchestrated harmonics in the background, singing to my ears worth of a game.
Yes.
You know, it's funny, Phil, because that's exactly what I picked out for you this week.
Yes.
Wow.
Because in the next few weeks, I'm really going to hit you hard with some terrible games. But
Thanks,
before
Mike.
we
I
do
appreciate
that,
it.
Before we do that, I thought I'd give you just a little bit of a palate cleanser.
What? This was a palate. This last game we gave to him was a palate cleanser, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but here's the thing: is that
rinse and swish.
I am going the exact opposite of the kind of game that he played last week.
Oh God, Mike.
Oh,
yeah. So, and if I don't know if you want to cue this up for the show, but if you want to have some heavy metal music playing in the background while I give this description. So this game right now is
Master of Puppets.
Yeah, this game's on sale for $1.99. It's the lowest price ever. It came out on January 29th, 2021. It's one player. Looks like it says it takes about an hour to beat, so it shouldn't be too bad. So here is the description. Do you want the name?
Nope.
No, read the description. Yeah.
Here's the description. Ready? And I'm not gonna go too crazy with it, but I will be a lot more intense than I normally am. All right, here we go. Hunt, die, hunt again. Master the frantic score attack arena shooter, first-person shooter set in a world of horror and gore. From the developers of Postal, Brain Damaged, and Elderborn comes Crossbow Blood Knight, a fast-paced single-player FPS arcade game with classic horror vibes. Master the occult powers of your automatic crossbow and fight for every second of survival against a relentless demonic horde. Game features arcane crossbow with various shooting modes, further empowered by siphoned spirits of your prey. Fluid, skill-rewarding movement mechanics with dashes, jumps, and bunny hops.
Oh, yeah.
Devastating special attack that takes time to recharge, but is best used in strategic moments. Instant respawn button and fast respawn after death, so you can stay immersed in the game. 6 enemy types in 2 variants, endlessly flooding the darkness-clad courtyard of the old desecrated abbey that becomes the arena of your struggle. Global leaderboard system so you can compete against friends and strangers. The Coven of Crossbow, an ancient order of hunters sworn to guard the balance between the forces of heaven and hell, prevailed against all odds. In the year 1666, as fire and plague rages London, the Coven is facing its greatest challenge yet. It is the ancient horror from beyond, making its way towards our reality. In its wake, legions of nightmare creatures spawn in the darkness. The Blood Night is upon us. Let the hunt begin.
That doesn't sound too bad. By the way, yeah, good job. It doesn't sound too bad.
It looks fun.
It's
I'm a big fan of the
$16.99.
1666.
Yeah.
Like, just wait, throw in that 666 with a 1 in the front of it.
Right.
What is the game called?
Yeah, what am I playing?
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot. It's called The Magical Adventures of... No, it's called...
That's way too many fucking words.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Crossbow Blood Knight.
Okay. Crossbow Blood Knight.
Now, I'm not going to go easy on you next week, just so you know. This one looked interesting to me, so I don't normally...
After that description, you didn't go easy on me.
Oh, wow. You have to actually put your age in for this game, Mike.
Yep.
You can't just...
God, it's not going to let me play. I'm too old.
That's true.
I should have asked Phil if you... Yeah, I should have asked
this game might kill you.
I should have asked if you could handle this kind of game first.
So when you were describing this game, the way I imagined it was like a top-down game.
It's an FPS.
Yeah, I did not realize that. That's interesting. It doesn't look too bad, actually.
Yes, I am in.
How much is this game? You said $1.99 right now?
$1.99.
What? I might actually
show me more, Garrett.
So, okay.
Show me more.
So normally this game is $4.99. It's $1.99, which makes me really wonder. Because I mean, okay.
That's what we're gonna find out next week.
I mean, we have found gems that have been really, really cheap, right? Like we have 2 weeks. We have found gems that are really, really cheap, but normally when you find a game for
I spelled night wrong.
$4.99 or $1.99, they're not
quality is questionable.
Quality. Yeah, exactly. So it'll be interesting to see how this game is.
But we found some really good ones.
We have Ding Dong XL.
Ding Dong XL.
1 cent. Ding Dong XL.
Ding Dong XL. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yep.
And when we used to do the switching on a budget on the Indie Focus game podcast, like we found some really good games that were discounted. Like Horus is a fantastic game.
I almost jumped back into that. Nice. Very nice.
But I don't think it's $1.99. I think we bought it for $1.99, but I don't think it's normally $1.99.
No. Horus is a $20 game on the cheap side. Should be.
Yeah, but this one is normally $4.99, so it makes me wonder.
The trailer looked good.
Yeah. I bet you it's the same thing over and over and over and over.
Oh yeah, it's an arena shooter. So you're just surviving waves after waves. It's an arcade game.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to hear about this in a couple weeks to see how. See, now you get more time. You can play that too, Phil. See?
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Means I don't have to wait until 7:59 on a Thursday night to start
That's
playing
right.
the damn game.
That's right. Yeah.
Which I
very
did
cool.
not do with Woodle. I played it earlier today. Yep. Earlier
Nice.
today.
You played it more than I did.
Yep, me too. Okay, cool. Well,
You're
we'll
welcome.
hear more about that in a couple weeks. Before we head out, then, why don't we go around and tell people how they can get a hold of us? And Mike, how can people get a hold of you?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch, both at TC Throwers.
Nice. And Phil, how can people get a hold of you?
You can find me on Twitter at BNow23.
And listeners, you can find us on the Twitter at GamerHeads PC. The Twitter, not the fake one. It has to be the actual Twitter, like
not Twatter.
No, or Tweeter. Nope, it's Twitter, the Twitter. It's kind of like the real Ghostbusters, right?
Don't you dare disparage the real Ghostbusters.
No, I'm not. I'm saying it's like that.
Okay.
No, they're saying the real Ghostbusters because there was the other Ghostbusters that was out there that actually.
But that wasn't bad either.
But those were the original.
Those were the original. That's the crazy thing. That's weird. That's messed up. Anyway, you can also go to GamerHeadsPodcast.com and you can check us out there. You can read articles that we've been posting. You can hear this podcast or any other podcast we have out there as well. And speaking of podcasts, I should mention this, Mike, Controller Throwers are coming back.
That's the plan. We're hoping to come back the Wednesday after Labor Day.
Nice. So check that out, and we'll have your show if you're cool with that. Put you on the spot. No, we talked about
absolutely,
this.
Yeah.
Just rage quit, Mike. Rage quit, Mike.
Yeah, you'll find DC Thor's on GamerHeads Podcast. And yeah, and also, like I said, I'm gonna leave a link to the. I didn't say this before, but I'm saying it now. I'm gonna leave a link to the past. I'm gonna leave a link to the to Podchaser where you can review our podcast. So click there, leave us a review. We'd love to hear what you have to say about the show. Mike, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Thank you.
And Phil, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Always.
Garrett, nice job behind the scenes. Thank you so much for producing the show. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Garrett.
Thank you.
And listeners, thank you so much for giving us a listen. Again, if you like what you hear, leave us a review. We want to hear what you have to say about the show. Until next week, stay safe and game on. We'll talk to you next week, Sunday. See ya.
So long.
Take care, everybody.